You want kids to understand that if their parents or someone's not there to talk to them, they have that adult at school that they can trust. So I wanted to be that influence on my students too. I had a teacher who was very invested in her students. And at that time, I was going through family issues. And she was always there to make sure I didn't fall behind. She even called me every day to make sure I was okay with my work. And out of the 100 kids that I was there, I was glad that she was there to still make sure I was okay. So she was a big impact in my life at that time. When we're in class, we have fun. I mean, it's science, so they like it. And so you can have your struggling students that know, oh, I can't do this. But in reality, you get them thinking, man, dude, you got this. You know what I mean? You give them that influence. And a lot of the kids that I thought that wouldn't make it did really well. So I think that they see that I'm a big motivator no matter what situation the kid is in. And I still strive them to do the best no matter what they think of themselves. My students would say, I come because I like science. So I think that's a big motivation where I continue teaching, because it's the kids that bring you in sometimes. If you don't have the patience for them, then you shouldn't be teaching. Thank you. It's a pen balance. Good job. The only one thing that I feel that is challenging for me as a science teacher, because we're used to doing lab 80% of the time, and now we're only doing it maybe 30-40% of the time, because I have to make sure they have the materials that any household would have so they can work from home. Face-to-face teaching, I think they would have more fun if we were in class, because I mean, we're able to jump up and do things together than just be on a computer. So I think that's the biggest reward, knowing that the kids want to come to school because they enjoy what you teach.
I tell them, once we come into the door, we leave all of our issues, including mine, we leave them at the door. Let's work hard, let's do our best, let's learn, let's get better every single day. I'm gonna teach them hard, teach them strong, teach them well from start to finish. And I taught my kids that, and whenever I want my kids to get the best education, I gotta step up to the plate. When we're trying to have an outcome of being positive and doing the best we can for our kids to get them to the next level, you gotta have the kids engaged. You gotta know if you're gonna have an hour class, you better prep for an hour and a half, because we know times are changing, things change. We're in class, there's a fire drill, we have to adapt. Though I wish we were in the classroom soon, because there is nothing like the personal connection, because the kids also need social skills. So I think it's every day coming in, welcoming the kids, showing that you care for them, looking them in the eye, shaking hands, treating them well, because they're gonna remember how I treated them, values, and that I was a positive role model, because I think we need more male positive role models, or we need that every single day. And that's where it makes me feel really good. Right now, this is a tough time. This is such a really hard time. And I commend all teachers right now. We're checking emails at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And then as soon as we wake up at 6 in the morning, the emails are there. And I know we can turn off, those emails, but You know, we want to be there for our families, but we want to be there for our kids too, because this is our society, sir. We want San Benito to be a better place to live. So that's why I'm doing it. I mean, that's why we do it.
I had a teacher whose name is Miss Rika. She welcomed all of us on the first day. We were all nervous, but she welcomed all of us by singing good morning songs and playing the piano. And I was just fascinated with the way she played the piano, and also all the learning was through music. And all day long, we just had a good time, and it was like, it was not about learning and learning and learning. It was just having a good time and singing and learning at the same time. So I always thought that I want to learn how to play the piano and play instruments. Not only that, I wish I could do the same thing and inspire others and let them have fun through music. The most rewarding moment is when students find out what their passion is. It could be music, could be art, it could be totally something else that, maybe I didn't teach, but it doesn't really matter, because I think we all have something in them. And the most important thing is that when they find it in them and they can actually contribute to the world. There's so many skills required to be a teacher, but one most important skill is a passion. Teaching is not for everybody. And if you don't love to teach, then this is not going to be for you. And passion is, I always think that passion is a talent that you're born with. Like, people think that some people are talented and doing this and that, but where is that talent? Nobody's born to be a Beethoven. Nobody can, the 3-year-old all of a sudden started playing Beethoven. That doesn't happen. So the passion is, the talent is actually the passion. The passion makes us strive and want to learn more, and then finally we succeed.
Back in middle school, one time, I remember leaving the 7th grade class. As we're walking out, the teacher, when we walked out, the teacher told every student as they walked out, it's almost as a threat, she said, make sure you send me an invite to your graduation. Some reason that moment stuck, and I want to have that same impact in my students. Maybe if it's something I say, it's a small comment that sticks and drives them to become better people. I deal with the whole school. I deal with all the students. I have to interact with the teachers on a daily basis. So I want them to take my drive to what I do. I want them to see that I'm not a slacker. I'm here to work. I'm here for the kids, and that I enjoy what I do. Being out here in the country, I've adapted to it. It's a lifestyle that all I've known. That's all I've known. I've always worked here. In my 12th year here. What these kids come from, like, it grows on you, and you appreciate what you do and what these kids might take from you. If it's a lesson or it's a conversation, I want those kids to understand that I enjoy what I do, and like I said, I hope they take something from it, to become better people in the future. A lot of what I want to give my kids is a positive feedback. Is make them feel wanted or feel important. I've heard stories of kids who go home and pretty much have to be the man of the house. And I mean, they're the same kids that are from here. They go to Riverside, and it just makes you appreciate what they're coming into the classroom for. I mean, they're coming to learn. Biggest reward, I know it's far-fetched from elementary, but these kids graduate, and to see them in their cap and gowns, and to see, man, you guys made it. I think as a teacher myself, and to finally see them, fulfill that ultimate goal is a big reward.
My biggest reward is that I get to see the students and how they grow. And I already got to see my first graduating class, and it was awesome. They came to visit us. I was so proud for them. Also, that I get to see their smiles when they come in, and they come in happy. They want to be in class. They want to be here with me. They don't come in saying, no, I don't want to be in class. enjoy it. I come into school with a smile. I come in waiting, anxious to see them. Not just the students, the staff. When you have a good staff, when you have colleagues that help you and they're around you and they're happy, just like you're happy, they make you feel wanted, they make you feel loved. And just seeing the students' smiles. And they tell you, I love you, Mrs. Crum. You're my best teacher. It's exciting. Well, when I was very young in elementary, I struggled. I was one of the struggling students. And I remember my second grade teacher, Mrs. Ruedas, and my parents helping me so much throughout that year because I didn't know any English. And I always wonder why did she keep me during conference and everybody gets to go? And the reason that she would keep me is because she was trying to get me where I needed to be. And not just that, my dad went to an English night class to help me learn English because I just couldn't. I didn't understand. I don't know how they did it to work every single day, go to night class and then teach me at home and then have the teacher help them teach me at home to make everything better. And it did, it made a difference. But once I got to second grade, the teacher that I had, Ms. Rueda, I guess she had a conference with my parents and they figured out a way to get me to learn it. So they went to school, they learned it, and then they taught me English along with my teacher. I think that I'm very flexible and I help them out a lot. They help me out a lot, and I love my students. The passion that I have for teaching is awesome. I want to be with them. I want to teach them. I want to motivate them to do better. I want them to feel like they want to come to school every single day. I want them to feel happy. Even though they're having a bad day, I want them to feel like everything's changing. Everything's going to be different in class. We're going to be happy. We're going to be fine. We're going to learn what we need to learn.
This comes all the way back to Animation 1. I'm there to help out. I always have been. I've always been eager to lend a helping hand wherever I can. The opportunities were always there for me to train others, and most of those moments is what drew me, because I'm able to share my knowledge, and to pass that on is key in teaching, because that's basically what you're trying to do, is you're trying to pass on the knowledge so that somebody else can learn. The kids have fun, and which really makes the job fun, the job of teaching that. I don't know that I could come in and teach anything else, math or social studies or anything else. To me, it's easy, it's fun, and I like it when the students enjoy themselves doing what it is they're designing, because they're free to draw from their heart, what they're feeling, and so it helps them as well put themselves out there. Teachers aren't always there to teach you subject matter. Sometimes it's life lessons. We try and bring some experiences in from the real world to get our point across. We're trying to make that impact. Plus, I find it rewarding to give back to my community. I think that nurturing your community is the better way to give back. And teaching is one of those. I don't feel it's ever going to go back to the way it was. I'm sure that we're probably going to rely on remote learning in some form or fashion in the future. Like anything else, we have to overcome and adapt. So you got to have that flexibility and open-mindedness.
When I was in elementary, I definitely had a third grade teacher who she was always very positive, always had a smile on her face, always encouraged all her students to try their best to participate, to join the clubs, to help in any way we can. My dad was also a teacher as well, so I grew up always hearing about it, and my parents always told me that, education was the number one thing. That's all I needed to worry about, and so I decided to become a teacher as well. So having everybody online has been completely different for me. We get to see their personalities, but not as much. We still try to build that relationship with the students, but it's still a little bit difficult for us to get to know them on that level. Hopefully, when the students come back, we can work on that more. And not just building the relationship, but also the academics, having to do everything online, having to do technology for everything that we do in class now has been very different as well. I would say I've definitely seen an increase in parent communication. A lot of the parents, I message them right away. They get back to me if the student isn't logged in yet. They let the student know and the kid logs in like a minute after. So definitely the parent communication has improved a lot. As before, maybe they were used to the teachers being able to do everything in the class, so maybe they were a little more reliant on that. But definitely the parent communication has been great, and I've talked to every parent and the messages. They let me know. They ask if students are turning in assignments, so it has definitely improved a lot. Hopefully they see that I do care about them and everything that goes on with them, and when they leave my classroom, they can remember me for that.
Everybody wants to contribute. Everybody wants to do their part. That's a nice thing about education. And working here is you have so many hands that everybody wants to do their part to make sure that our students are successful. Everybody takes ownership. Everybody sees them from every position on the campus. They see these are our kids. These are our kids. And they're not my kids. They're not your kids. They're our kids. Our students, and we want to make sure that they're successful. I don't even see it as a job or as a work. I got to go to work or something. I look forward to it. Even, you get off in summer, and I always would work summer school, and I always worked in the summer. And sometimes it would look like, okay, I had a week off or 2 weeks. If you think about it, I was like, that's plenty. And I love working with the at-risk students, that it takes that little bit extra, that you got to sit there, okay, hey, what have you doing? How can I help you? What do you need to get to it? I don't see it as a career. I look forward to waking up every morning. I just love it. The challenge, it's never stagnant. It's always changing. This whole Corona thing, yes, it's been a challenge and it's been tragic for a lot of families. I see it as the silver lining, as look at what we're doing and how we are changing the way we instruct in the class. I don't take anything that comes, any change, as a negative. I always look at it as, okay, great, we can do this, or okay, this is something I've been wanting to try or wanting to do. Or immediately think of how I can adapt whatever we're doing to accommodate the change that's coming into place. Okay, this is the way we were taught this lesson, but this is the way they want it to do now, or we need to do it for now. Okay, I can adjust this. Instead of spending time saying, okay, well, how are we going to do this, or why I need this, I need that, it automatically jumps onto, okay, we can do this, I can figure from here, I've got this, I'm ready to go. What do we need? So I think it's probably just some more of the positive energy and seeing ways around what could be considered a barrier, and then maybe it's not a barrier at all, but it's a step. It's not blocking you from doing something, it's raising you to another level.
It's probably a series of moments and a series of people that actually made me want to become a teacher. Like I said in my speech, I had my daughter young, so because of that, I had a lot of challenges, and a lot of my athletic coaches and my counselor at the time, and Coach Leticia Pope, Mari Partida, Coach Rosie Garcia, they gave me guidance about what I was going to do next. having those people guide me made me want to do the same for others. I think it's more that I don't expect the mediocrity. It's not okay. My students know that they need to perform their best. And when they don't, I tell them they don't. So they get disappointed in themselves. They know that they've not only let themselves down, but they left me down. And that's good, to hold them to that expectation and let them know that I care enough that you can do better and you need to do better. I tell my students I expect nothing less. Growth is improvement, and letting them know that I'm proud of those improvements is, I think, what makes me that outstanding teacher. Sometimes we're the only smiley face they see. Sometimes we're the only people that ask them how they're doing, and the only people that care enough about them in that time, about wanting their success. And I feel like I want to be that for as many students as I possibly can. I teach the upper level. It may not be the same for elementary, but we need to be able to relate to our students and have that commonality where our students know that their best is our best intention. They need to rely on us, I think, and gaining that trust with them opens a lot of doors and a lot of opportunity for us to do what we need to do. They'll remember me as the teacher that always expected their best. That I'm the teacher that wanted them to be better than they are right now. Just because you're here right now doesn't mean you need to end up here. And if it's not that you're going to go to a university, then just any kind of post-secondary is okay. And don't stop because you feel like you've plateaued, you've made your what you want to do. There's always something better. And I hope that they remember me as that person that expected more and wants more for them. And taught them a little English, I guess.
My first inspiration to teach was through my mother because she was a teacher. She opened a school, a language school in Mexico, and I was helping her, and I really liked it. I was just assisting, and I really liked that. At home, I would see her planning and grading papers, and she was always so excited, and all the kids, like she was really involved in the kids' lives. Being able to help and seeing a difference made me feel like I was doing something good, like happy, and that's when I decided to be a teacher like her. You need to find a way to approach that special child or that class, make that connection, and actually make them want to learn and want to participate and want to be in the classroom. Because you can teach all day long, but if they're not learning, if they're not making that connection, if they're not listening, nothing's gonna happen. You have to make them want to learn and make them want to do that lesson or that activity. Otherwise, it's not gonna stay in their minds. When I notice that they're achieving something or they're learning something new, to me, it gives me that sense of accomplishment that I did something that really matters, and that feeling of feeling that I did something good for someone. I now feel that it's very impersonal. It's taking me longer to get to know the students. It's very hard when you have them through a computer that the lessons have to be different, the pacing is different, everything is different when you're doing online. Sometimes teachers do get overwhelmed and tired, and they just say, I just want to retire, I just want to quit already. It's very hard, but it's also very rewarding.
Teaching allows me to be a part of something that is way bigger than myself. It allows me to contribute to my society. I try to be very energetic in my classes. I try to motivate them the same way I got motivated. My mom was a teacher, my grandma was a teacher, and they were teachers in the same school. And I would go after school, and help them, grade papers and stuff like that. And I found it fun, interesting. And then when I got to college, I met this professor. She was the type of person to have all this energy and all this positive attitude. And I guess she inspired me to become a business teacher as well. the biggest challenge we face now with the whole virtual learning is the fact that students are not there right in front of you. You know, it's really difficult to see what they're doing. You know, you can be teaching a lesson on the camera and everything, but the students are not in front of you, and you cannot see how are they solving a problem. You know, like in my classroom, I used to like walk around, you know, to see what they're doing. You know, check their books, all of that, and that's something that I cannot do on the computer. Here we are, trying to make the best out of a tragic situation. You know, teaching with that iPad and that pen without ink. It's different, you know, but that doesn't mean it's not efficient. There's also a lot of opportunities, you know, opportunities to grow as a professional, to learn new tools, you know, to learn different ways of doing things, you know, to change what we always did. Because nowadays, you know, students are being raised by social media and, you know, electronic devices. So we gotta get into that era where teaching is also like done through electronic devices, you know, through technology, so that we can reach those students. It'll make me really, really happy if I get to inspire some of them into becoming teachers as well.
I love teaching. I think it's my passion. I love seeing the kids, how happy they are, their personalities, their quirkiness, their curiosity. I just love teaching. I love being able to be that positive role model for someone, being able to encourage them and motivate them and let them know that anything that they desire can be achieved as long as they work hard for it. San Benito has a really tight network, and we have friends from all across the district and different campuses. Whether it's a text or a phone call or a Facebook message, hey, I'm having trouble with this, what are you doing, what can I use? Well, you know, everyone is sharing their resources. And have you tried using ClassKick? Have you tried using Nearpod? Have you tried using Kahoot? All these different activities, we are able to share with one another and help each other grow, not only as an individual teacher, but as a district as a whole. I think that you must have a lot of patience, because at any moment, you know, things can seem or feel overwhelming. You know, you must be prepared for the unexpected. There is no such thing as a perfect lesson. So instead of becoming overwhelmed or panicking, I think we just need to take it one step at a time. You know, if you need to find yourself a mentor, something that's going to help you, but don't give up. We just need to have patience, we need to be calm, and everything will go as planned. I hope that my students would say that I was kind, and that I was caring, and that I made a difference in their lives. And if they said that I was fun, that would be the icing on the cake, because we all know that anything that is fun is always worth remembering.
Building the relationships is really what makes them comfortable, because the student's gonna work for somebody who they respect and who they appreciate the work that they see you putting in for them. Most of the time, if they like you, you know, they're gonna work for you, and I think that's in all aspects of life. So I try to show them, hey, you know, you're starting a clean slate with me. I don't know you, you don't know me. This is day one. You know, let's write our story from here on out. I think that's probably the one quality that I take wherever I go, wherever I work, whatever I'm doing, is build a relationship first, and the rest will fall into place. I'm very hands-on with my students. I saw the existing material that was here, and I learned very quickly it didn't fit with my students' learning styles. Wipe the slate and start fresh, and that involved a lot of dialogue between me and the students. That's my way of teaching, because I feel like when students are able to first get out what they're thinking, then I can take what they say and help them put it on paper. It was a struggle at first getting them in here. after a while, I started noticing, I had my regulars and I had, them coming in, and they'd walk in and they knew the routine. And it was really awesome. And it was such a disappointment that pandemic hit, and it kind of pushed everything and all of that, progress aside. It's really been difficult for me to bring that comfort to them through a laptop. I hope that I'm teaching them more than just reading and writing. I hope that I'm teaching them to be future leaders, because that's what we need more of. We need more leaders, more self-thinkers, more critical thinkers, The connection and the relationships and the molding that I know that I'm doing, that our schools and our children so desperately need.
It's been a challenge for a lot of us students and teachers, but we're learning a lot of new things. Virtual platforms, technology that we never used before, and with practice makes perfect. So as the days go on, we're getting better at it. Kids they're responding to it too, and we're trying to make the best of it, for the students could get the proper education they need, because this is all time that's passing by, and it's very important that they learn what they need to know to move on to the next grade or to college, wherever it is, whatever follows for them. A good rapport, good communication, like somewhat of a bond. Just know how to get the kids' attention, or anybody you're teaching, or anybody that you're trying to teach something. If they're really interested in it, they'll learn things. It'll make it easier for them to learn and grasp whatever it is you're trying to teach them. I would look at the students' interests. Usually, if you could communicate with them and find out what their interests are, you could start talking to them about that, and they could open up a little bit more, and you could establish a teacher-student relationship, and they'll feel more comfortable talking to you, and then they'll open up, and it'll make it easier for them to put all the effort into learning whatever it is you're trying to teach them. Making an impact in students' lives. I mean, my sixth graders, in about 7 or 8 years, they're going to become adults, and especially me teaching social studies, it's very important that these kids have the social and educational skills to be productive citizens. Right now, we're living in a difficult time where you see a lot of things going on around the country, and hopefully these kids can make our country a better place to live in and be successful adults and good citizens. I enjoy it. I enjoy waking up and coming to work every day. I enjoy my campus. I enjoy the district. It's very rewarding to make a difference in students' lives.
The Three Houses of the Little Pigs in the Woods is our setting. That's where the story is taking place.
I think that what makes me a great teacher is being patient and being someone who is selfless, because I do like to give a lot to my students. I just like to make my classroom fun for them. So I do have different activities, like I transform my classroom for them, make centers, activities, lots of hands-on projects in my classroom. Patience is a virtue. You need to be patient in education. You're gonna be asked the same question all day, and you're gonna have the problems that you're facing, and you need patience in order to find different techniques, different ways to those problems in order to be successful in the classroom with your students, your colleagues, your parents, administration, everybody involved in education. I think I was always wanting to be a teacher when I was younger. I used to babysit my 2 little neighbors, and I would role play I was their teacher. So I would take advantage of them, have a whiteboard in my classroom, books, write problems on the board, have them solve it. I would even take them outside in my yard and have them run laps. Like I was giving them the whole curriculum, even PE. And I did have a person who inspired me, and that was Ms. De Leon, Claudia De Leon, in San Benito High School. She was my sophomore geometry teacher. There was a day I was late to her class. Then she noticed that something was wrong with me. And she asked me to step outside, and she asked me, hey, Fabi, like, I noticed there's something wrong with you. Do you want to talk about it? Before the class ended, she called me back outside and she had this composition book that I still have since 2011. And in that composition book, she wrote a letter to me. And it was her birthday, but she wanted to give me a present on her birthday. And in that letter, she talked about how much she appreciated having me in her classroom, how much she loved me, and how she was there to make sure that I was always okay. And that is something that inspired me, because not only did she worried if I learned her math, but she worried how I was feeling and what was wrong with me in my personal life. I want to be a Miss De Leon for my students. I want my students to know that in my classroom they have a safe haven. They're here to learn, and I'm here to teach them everything I can. But I'm also here to listen to them and be there for them when they need me the most.
The teaching profession was something that I've always enjoyed. Especially when you love kids, I mean, it's easy to go into it. You know, I see kids out there and I'm like, ah. Just the other day I had one of my students that I had in like when I first started teaching. I'm so proud of her. She's going for a master's. I think she just finished her master's, and she's a teacher with the Harlingen School District. And she's saying, hi, Miss Melaya. It's like, ay Dios, this not the worst of time gone. Weren't you just a little bit? And she just had a baby like 2 days ago. I was like, oh my goodness, mija. Oh my God, they grow up. They need to learn on their own. They're second graders. Yes, they come as babies, and then they, you know, by the end of the year, yeah, they know this application. And I just told them, as a matter of fact, you know what? You guys, second graders, come on, tell me. Who doesn't YouTube? You guys are YouTubers. You guys are, you know, really good at all of these applications. But here you see their expressions. Did they get it? Did they not get it? Did they understand it? Who did not understand it? Just by walking around and seeing what they're doing, or you know, what their motions are, and that's what I miss. And their, you know, their hugs, you know, and their I love you, miss. Y yo soy muy amorosa. Sorry. Yo soy muy amorosa. Los necesito. And I need them here. I need the physical touch. I cannot go out without the physical. I can't. And that's very, very hard.
I love knowledge. I can't have enough of knowledge. I think that's why I got into I didn't want to stop. Like when I got out of high school, I didn't want to stop. I yearn for knowledge, and I yearn to give people knowledge. The biggest challenge is having the students actively engaged and entering the classrooms. Because if, like, out of sight, out of mind, I guess, if they think we don't see them, or we're just going to forget about them. So they pretend, or they say that they'll be in class, but they won't be. That would be the hardest challenge. I never thought I would be a teacher. My career goal was joining the psychology. I love psychology in college. I took my bachelor's psychology, and I took my GREs to join the graduate program in psychology. Fortunately, I say fortunately because I'm now doing something that I love, I didn't get in, and somebody told me, that why don't you try joining education? It has to do with children, which I wanted to study. I took my courses and I fell in love with education. I took my master's in education administration. I love the background details, I love the laws, I love everything that has to do with behind the scenes of education. The people here at Miller Jordan, seeing them every day and learning from them actually makes me happy to know that I'm not the only one in this fight to get the kids to be better. It's the people around you that fuel you coming in every day and giving it your all. If anybody ever wants to leave the profession, they need to ask themselves, what was their goal in the beginning? What was your love? Were you doing it for a job, or is it something you wanted? All right, was this your goal, your life dream? Because if it is, keep going. It's like don't quit, don't let anything stop you. All right, but if you're actually thinking of walking away, then this wasn't meant for you because this wasn't your dream. You gave up way too quick. It gets better. I want them to know that. I want them to remember me as somebody who cared, somebody who just didn't think of them as an ID number, as a seat. I want them to know that I cared for not only their education but their outside life. I was there. I listened. I'll listen before school. I'll listen after school. No matter what is needed, I'll be there for the kids.
My mom actually is the person that I would consider the person who inspired me because she was actually a teacher. She taught for 32 years here in San Benito, the San Benito district. And I think just as a young age, I always remember going to stores and like if I was at HEB, Walmart, and everybody, and even now, like everybody's constantly coming up to her and say, "Oh my gosh, Miss Pedraza, how are you doing? You were my best teacher. You know, I remember this. We would struggle, you would help us." So I think just at an early age, I was always hearing like, "Oh, you know what? My mom is doing some type of a difference for people." I think for the most part, because most of the time I've talked to a bunch of other teachers, fellow educators, and the biggest thing right now is just coming out of our comfort zone. We're so well suited to just teach in the classroom because we're used to it. It's routine. It's not necessarily routine, but you just know how to handle the situations as they occur here in the classroom. You can reach them one-on-one. It's easier. You know, you can do what you need to do. You plan. You know what you got, and you're set. You know, but when you tie in the virtual that we're having to do, it's very limited. So it's like, I think, like I said, coming out of your comfort zone because what you were not used to doing before, you're having to learn. I just would hope to be that I was a teacher that was encouraging to them and that I was kind and compassionate with them. And, you know, she was one of those type of teachers that didn't give up on me. You know, because like I said, most of my students, maybe about 80% of my students, they do have those situations, you know. And I kind of feel for them, I guess, in a sense, also as a mother. I do have kids, and then not because you're just a parent that you don't, you know, but I think it's just easier and it just comes naturally to just kind of be like, "Oh my gosh, like, no, you know what, you're okay," you know. And maybe they don't have that encouragement for whatever reason at their house, or, you know, parents are busy or whatever it is, but they don't hear it that often, or they just assume, you know, because we could be guilty of that we're in our own little bubble and we don't see that, you know, as a parent, we don't see that our child is hurting in a certain way, but an outsider can. You know, so I think as a teacher, I would hope that they would say, "You know what, she was always there. She encouraged me. You know, she helped me to reach what I needed, you know, my goals, and, you know, I was able to do what I wanted to do."